Florida auto insurance laws are complicated, but the details matter when you are involved in an accident and are seeking compensation. In today's Injuries Are Personal with Carl Reynolds Law, attorney Carl Reynolds is here to explain personal injury protection, or PIP, and how to make sure you're getting the most out of your coverage. I'm pretty well educated, and PIP is confusing.
Yes,
so let's break it way down.
Okay.
First of all, what exactly is PIP?
When you hear the term no fault, that's what PIP is. And what it means is that your own auto insurance company is going to pay for your medical bills if you're in an accident, whether you're at fault or not. So let's take the prototypical situation where you're sitting at a stoplight and you're rear-ended by another vehicle.
Yep.
Your own auto insurance is going to cover your medical expenses up to $10,000. It pays at 80%, 60% of lost wages. Now, one curious thing about PIP, it's personal, so it follows the person. So even if you're a passenger in someone's vehicle, your own auto insurance company is going to pay. So even if your car isn't involved, let's say the host vehicle, the vehicle you're driving in, has insurance A, you have insurance B. Insurance B, even though not involved in the accident, is going to pay for your PIP benefit.
So I think that's something that most people probably don't realize. If the insurance for PIP is actually on your human, not your vehicle.
Correct.
Okay,
And that's true
good to know.
Throughout the state of Florida. There is one caveat to that. Once you leave Florida, and we know a lot of us do, you have to be in your own vehicle for PIP to apply. If you're outside the vehicle, like you're renting a car in New York, whatever, you will not get PIP through your own auto insurance company.
So what's the principle behind PIP? It was meant to protect us from what?
Meant to protect us from having to confirm whether or not the at-fault driver has insurance. You know you have insurance. You can then go and seek medical care immediately, knowing that it's going to be covered through PIP. Now, where the legislature gives, they taketh away. So what they take away in exchange for the PIP provision is, in order to prevail at trial, in order to get pain and suffering damages or compensation, you have to prove a permanent injury under Florida law.
Okay, help us understand. We don't like to talk about these big, huge traumatic things, but you're in a situation, there's been, large amounts of medical bills and injury.
Right.
What do we need to understand about Florida law?
What you need to understand is PIP pays, but it doesn't pay in full. You can have a $1,000 deductible. You have a 20% copay.
Okay.
You have a 40% copay for lost wages. So in order to get made whole, you have to get that from the at-fault party. Now, if you cause the accident, obviously you're responsible for that.
You're the at-fault party,
right?
Yep.
But if someone else is at fault, then you pursue them or their insurance company to compensate you for that. But at the same time, you have a quality of life diminishment.
Absolutely.
You have a pain and suffering thing, especially with injuries that are going to be lingering. Back issues, we know, can go on for years and years, if not for the rest of your life.
Lack of ability to do a job or something horrible.
So Florida law allows compensation for that, but they require this permanent injury. And it doesn't mean, that's a little bit of a misnomer. It doesn't mean you have to be disabled or unable to do anything. What it means is they define it in one of four ways. One is death. Well, yeah, that's permanent.
Right.
Loss of important bodily function, which most people don't lose important bodily functions as a result of an accident. Significant physical scarring, which again, with airbags and safety glass, you don't see that, or a permanent impairment. Well, that's where the rub is, basically, is the fight with insurance companies is whether or not someone suffered a permanent impairment. The way I look at it is this. Prior to the accident, your health is here. As a result of the accident, your abilities and your health dips down, okay?
Right.
And now through therapy and treatment, you're trying to get back up to where you were. But if there's a difference, if now you have pain where you didn't have before, if you have anatomical changes like a herniated disc or something you didn't have before, that's your permanent impairment. And doctors are trained to, some doctors are trained to give opinions on that. And those are the doctors we work with.
And that is something that in a legal situation for your clients, you will argue that if they're living here and they used to be living here, we have a problem.
Exactly. And that's where legal services become almost a necessity, particularly in
so.
Florida, because you have to prove that permanency. Otherwise, you're not entitled to a dime of pain and suffering.
All right, well, these are not
Doesn't matter how painful it was, you're not entitled to it unless you prove that permanent injury.
These are not things I think we can figure out on our own in the Florida law. There's a lot of discrepancies there.
A lot of nuances, a lot of things, yes.
All right, well, we appreciate the details, and if you need details about any of your legal questions, you can find Carl at injuriesarepersonal.com. We'll be right back.